Let's see. We have a question on Fitbit sleep tracking from Jay. He says, "G'day, Rob. G'day. G'day, Rob. Love your work. I took a break from your podcast to learn computer programming, and I'm now back because I'm stressed and my desk-bound body is broken. Glad to be back and see you figured out your keto problems when bonking during class. I've signed up to your keto masterclass, so fingers crossed." That sentence didn't really quite make sense to me.
He's Australian. I mean,
Okay.
it's English as a second language, so yeah.
I have a somewhat basic question about sleep. My Fitbit says I slept 7 hours with 1 hour awake. I don't remember waking, and there are up to 30 a night of these tiny awake periods. I do sometimes toss and turn to get into comfortable positions. My partner says I'm asleep within minutes of hitting the pillow, so I think I'm sleeping okay. Should I think about this as 8 hours of sleep or 7? I tend to wake up energized when my Fitbit says 6 hours and 30 minutes plus 1 hour awake. So thinking this is equivalent to a standard 7 to 8 hours per night. When I push for Fitbit to say 8 hours, then I'm very lethargic when I wake, but it's probably then like 9 hours, which could be oversleeping for me. Anyway, love the work you two are doing. I miss the Q&As with Greg. I miss Greg too.
We need to spend more time with
We
Greg.
do.
We should just have a Greg guest retrospective
We
gig.
should.
Just get him on the show, Q&A fired at Greg, and just shoot the breeze.
We should.
Yeah.
Let's definitely do
Yeah.
that. Okay. But love the new format. Anyway, fangirling from Australia. My question can probably be answered by Google, but I'm sure you'll be able to cut through the interjunks. All the best, Jay.
Well, Google might have banned the information at this point. You never really know. But this is interesting stuff, and I've used a number of wearables like Oura Ring, Fitbit. I dig all of them. All of them are really cool. And at the end of the day, all of them made me a little bit crazy, and I ended up discontinuing using them. And one of the things that made me the craziest was this sleep piece, because it just didn't really matter what else in the rest of my life that I did. It always said that my sleep was kind of marginal. My HRV was kind of like, you're kind of ready, but not really ready. I had a real problem with sleep latency, because I'll get in bed and read, and it would
It was like it was tracking. It was saying that you had
difficulty falling asleep, and so I would
but
take.
you were awake reading.
Right. So I've just found some challenges with this stuff, and I think that this is where Jay lays it out pretty well. If you're feeling good, I think that these wearables are really beneficial for establishing a baseline. And then if something changes, good or bad, then we can kind of look at that as a little bit of a compass guidepost. But at some point, it's almost like you're drowning in information, and I don't know that it's doing you more good, because it just kind of is what it is.
And Tyler Cartwright shared an article with us about some sort of study that was done where people who are tracking sleep, I don't remember if it mentioned the specific device, but there's like a placebo effect. So if you wake up and your thing says that you slept like crap, then people tended to feel
worse.
Yeah. Even if,
I remember that.
And so it was basically saying, because some of this technology is not as refined, or is if it's not actually reporting accurately, it could be causing you to feel worse, even though maybe you slept
just fine. Yeah. That's what the researchers did, is they were doing an actual sleep study, which is much more involved, and so they would actually send them sometimes false information on the day when they and then conversely, on days when they actually kind of slept like shit, they would say, "You're ready to go, Tiger," and the person was like, "Okay, I'm ready to go," and so this is where some of this stuff, it's just we're kind of drowning in information, and I think to some degree, just like waking up and like looking around and saying, "Oh, how do I feel today?" And you go poo, and it's like, "Oh, that was formed, and I didn't need like an armload of toilet paper to wipe." Like these kind of pretty objective metrics of just feeling are rather powerful. It's reminiscent. It's an old book at this point, but Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. He went into really great detail talking about how, even though we've increased the information we have, like looking at MRIs and stuff like that, we have all this additional information. And we were just talking to our friend, Dr. Jim Greenwald, the other day, who's a retired orthopedic surgeon. he feels like MRIs have pushed orthopedic surgery backwards, and there's a whole host of reasons why, but the information that one obtains from a really thorough physical, according to Dr. Greenwald, and just listening to the patient tells you so much about what's going on, and like, is surgery really an option? Let's do all this physical therapy and stretching and stuff like that. But it's virtually everything on an MRI is like, yep, you've got some sort of pathology, because we just get down so granular, but it's not actually better informing what we're doing. And I think that there's a certain element of this with the wearable scene, which somebody will want to hang me out to dry because these wearable companies make a ton of money, and I do think that they have great application. I think that more, if you're really burning the candle at both ends, like if I had something like this in my 20s, it would have probably been good because I was trying to murder myself with exercise and short sleep and everything. And that would have been a really beneficial thing for me, I think, getting that objective kind of feedback of like, okay, you've got 3 reds in a row, like you got to slow down. But I know that was probably like the longest answer to something that could have been rather concise in getting back to this. But I think, Jay, I wouldn't worry what the hours are. I would just, if you enjoy wearing it, use it as a baseline. Then that way, if anything changes, then you can always refer back to the baseline. But then beyond that, how do you look? How do you feel? How do you perform? I think those are really powerful metrics.